Here we are, everybody. What's going on? It is your observant lineman, Uche Waneri. You know, sometimes you just don't want to spend all your day worried about what other people are talking about. That's how Coach Ooch lives his life. But sometimes, every now and again, you just need to, check out something like that. And look, let's for people out there who've been on my channel, people out there who follow me on social media, people out there who know me in any capacity beyond tweets and I guess the social matrix that the social media matrix that we all live in. Anybody who knows me knows Ooch don't really care that much about other people's opinions. I just don't care. But in this case, I had to say something because, look, I am, as much as the next person, I am all about everybody having the right to say what they want to say, go where they want to go, live how they want to live. That's how I feel. I don't care about the politics of it. I don't care about left or right, because there's a little bit of each of that in everybody. I've got parts of me that I've got beliefs and leanings in some of my philosophies that are probably going to lean more to the right, and I have some that are going to lean more to the left. But at the end of the day, if you're going to try and cherry pick something that I say, put it out there as though I am inferring that somehow this is an equivalent analogy to that of an offense that we all know is one of the biggest violations that you could have, and say that that's essentially what I'm saying. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I don't care about your channel. I don't care about your following and all that shit. That don't mean nothing to me. It means nothing to me. He knows that. I'm subscribed to the Quartering. I watch his channel every day. I pretty much watch one video at least of his every day. It's entertaining to me because I know the angle he's taking. I see the angle he's taking. And the funny thing about it to me is that, yeah, I believe that some of his ramblings are genuine ramblings, that he feels that way. But some of them, and by some I mean probably a good amount. I'm not going to guess at a number because that would just be, cannon fodder for him to say, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line here is that he puts on a show. I understand that. I watch his channel because I'm entertained by his show. He clutches his pearls quite a lot in many of his videos, and I understand why he does that. Clutching pearls on the internet is the ultimate clickbait. It is the ultimate clickbait. It's the ultimate clickbait. We all know this, or at least the ones of us who are not so invested in it emotionally that we would actually feel grievanced by something that somebody says on the internet. Like, I'm doing this right now partly because I feel like entertaining people. That's a majority of the reason why I'm even on this stream. I decided to stream this on a whim. I want you guys to hear about it because it's that ridiculous to me. It is that ridiculous. Now let's go to the tweet. Y'all want to see the tweet? I'm going to show you the tweet because I didn't, like I said, I'm not in opposition to Jeremy from the Quartering. I'm not. I enjoy watching his videos as entertainment because I don't take them seriously. I really don't. But it is entertaining to watch, and I think he's good at what he does. Entertaining people. Yes, he tries to, I guess, he tries to have these pseudo conversations about independence and censorship. But I mean, come on, man. Everybody is gonna there is no limit. There is no a part of this pop culture society that we live in where you won't find censoring by one side versus the other. It's just that's what it is. I choose to live in a world, I choose to live in a reality where I understand the rules of the game. I understand the rules and I understand how things work. And I understand that things are never really that fair. They're never really that fair for anybody. It's never really that fair for anybody. But to sit there and act like you can now clutch on your neck and he's saying essentially this is the same thing as fill in the blank. It's absolutely ludicrous. So let me share this with you guys so you guys can see this. There we go. And I will give you even more context after I show it to you guys. But this is essentially the tweet right here. And that tweet was in response to this. So this is what the Quartering put on his channel, or put on his tweet, on his Twitter. I'm sorry. And it says, I mean, I don't know what the hell YouTube, what they're going to try and, demonetize if I say that word or not. I don't know. Let me zoom in so you guys can even see it further. All right. There we go. This is what he posted on his Twitter. I mean, we can all see what's happening here. This is a familiar scene for many of us. This is a familiar scene in today's world. Protests and people acting the fool. Now, these people here were some Trump supporters who were in DC to protest, rally. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. These people decide that they're going to just take a leisurely stroll because it's their right to peaceably assemble and protest. Yet I don't see them actually in any protesting like they're not in a protesting. I guess they're not in a protesting mood. It looks because they're being accosted by people with water bottles and cameras, yelling at them and accosting them. Yes, this is not how people should be treated. Let's make that clear first and foremost for Jeremy from the Quartering, as he equates this to terrorism. We'll just say it, terrorism. And if that's how he wants to look at it, okay, fine. Who am I to tell him he's right or wrong? But if we're going to use that as our measuring stick and say that if I throw water at you, I'm a terrorist, then what happens to people who get shot in the eyes by riot police and lose an eye with rubber bullets? What about those people who are peaceably protesting and get shot with rubber bullets in their faces? Are you going to retweet videos of that? Because I got videos of that I can pull up right now. But yes, this is not right. I never said that this was right in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to show you guys exactly where my replies came in. Because I'm a common sense kind of guy. I think of it in a common sense manner. Like, what makes sense? Maybe it's because of my football background. Now, this is my response. They should have known better than to even show up to that protest. If you scared, go to church. And obviously there's a little bit, I'm being a little facetious there. I mean, this is the internet. This is the internet, people. Let's be real for a second here. This is the internet. This shit is not real. This is the Matrix. So while I'm in the Matrix, I'm gonna do what the fuck I feel like doing in the Matrix. And for 4 years, hey, I got good friends, very good friends who are Trump supporters. And we have jabbed at each other for 4 years, but we're still great friends. I hang out with these people all the time. I love them. I love them. But let's be real for a second. There's plenty of people out there who have been taking these same kind of little subtle jabs, subtle, facetious comments, which is honestly just a troll. And I trolled him purposely here. I trolled him because I know he likes to do the old clutchity clutch, the old Minnesota two clutch, the old Minnesota reach around. You know what I mean? Or Milwaukee reach around, wherever the hell he's from. But again, yes, I straight up trolled him on purpose. And this was his response to me trolling him. Her short skirt indicated her desire to be violated. That's what I'm saying. And that's how that's how he thinks that my comment should be accurately analyzed, correct? So, and I'm looking through the comments here, guys. Let me see what you got, how you guys are feeling this, because I look, and I see some people here, they got hate for him. Some people, they're trying to, defend what he's saying. Look, let me just, a couple things first off. Don't even say Antifa or BLM to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care about them. I don't care. I never have. I never have. Now, the Black Lives Matters movement, from an ideological standpoint, there is plenty there that I support. Equality, fair treatment of the individual, regardless of their social class, race, what have you. The retraining of our police departments to be more leaning in the way of de-escalation rather than overwhelming force. Yes, I'm totally for that. You say Marxist to me, I'm not going to respond because I don't give a fuck about none of that. Because that's not, to me, none of that means Black Lives Matter. That's something else you want to talk about, then you go talk about that somewhere else, because that don't mean nothing to me. Antifa, BLM, Marxist, all that means nothing to me. It does not in any way, shape, or form influence any way that I think about the entire situation behind the movement of Black Lives Matters. The movement of Black Lives Matters to me is a different thing than the actual the political, I guess, the political group slash political philosophy of Black Lives Matters. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't subscribe to it. I don't care about it. I'm totally 100% indifferent. But I do believe that our police forces around this country absolutely need to up their training game, because it's not very good. If you can, all you got to do is Google police brutality and just go through videos. There will be some that you can look at and say, no, that was fine. And there will be a lot where you'll look at and say, geez, these guys are like freaking thugs. But that's neither here nor there. I kind of, I digress. I went a little bit off with that. But back to this situation here. This is what he thinks my entire statement represents. Now, look, I come from a different kind of world. Maybe that's it. I come from a world where the level of competition, the level of accountability, the level of resolve that individuals have in the world I come from are usually matched by none. You have to be about what you think you're about, 24/7. Highly competitive, highly energized, and in my world that I come from, seeing is believing. And that is why I threw the gauntlet down. And I'm saying here right now, hey, if you want to talk about what I said, don't retweet it to your fucking followers, to your echo chamber. Don't retweet that shit, homie. Come see me. If you want a link, shoot me a DM and I'll shoot you a link. You jump right on this shit right here, right now. We talk. And I'm not going to be disrespectful because that's just not my style. I'm going to talk to you about as amicably as you could probably expect. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to debate. Hell yeah, we're going to debate. But let's be real for a second. You're going to go over here and retweet me, which is fine. But that tells me a little bit. I never retweet anything about what you say. As much ridiculous things as I've seen you post on your Twitter, I don't retweet it. I message you. I send you a response, and I wait for you to either respond or not, or whoever your followers are who want to have a conversation about it. I respond to them. I don't look at myself as a blue check mark, yada yada yada. I don't give a fuck about none of that. You know how long I've had that blue check mark? I've had that blue check mark since 2009. I mean, up until the last year, I had not even really used my Twitter since 2009, 10, maybe one post every 3 months. But Twitter is not, it's not in any way, I'm not invested in Twitter in any way emotionally, the way that a lot of people are, which I can't understand. Because to me, it's not real, but it is a spot for me to have fun. And that's what I'm going to do. Let me get to a couple of these super chats. I appreciate the super chats, by the way. Here we go. Dodger of Zion, $10. I appreciate that, Dodger. I really do. I love Dodger. She's one of the people in the 5 Points Vids community, urinating tree community. Really love those guys. And really appreciate, that they have welcomed me into their community. So Dodger Zion for $10. As a woman, anyone being so flippant about SA like that automatically strikes me as a not nice person. And I can see that perspective. I can see that point of view. I really can. I can see that point of view. I think that, when people are so eager in today's culture to have a gotcha moment, to be like, oh, gotcha. See this, you saying this? It's the same thing as them saying that. That's what people like to do. People like to troll. People like to act like they're victims, act like they have a soapbox to stand on top of. And and not to trivialize that, there are situations where people are, trying to say something, and it does matter that we listen to them. But a lot of times, Twitter ain't the spot where you're going to find that. Twitter is not the spot where you're going to find a welcome soapbox where people will listen to you with any kind of genuine intrigue or fascination about what you have to say. It's a gotcha, or it's a look at me, or it's a, hey, did you hear about this kind of world inside of Twitter. So, again, I know what he's trying to do here. I don't care, but I will call you. I'll call you out on it, because to me, there's nothing that you can more. There's nothing more telling about a person than whether or not when you ask them to have a conversation, whether or not they're ready to respond to that, to ready to have a conversation. He retweets me. He doesn't respond to anything I've said after that. He doesn't respond to any of the messages or any of the replies that I sent. And, for the most part, he ghosts. He ghosts out of here after he dropped that, and he hit the deuces. So, that's him. He can do what he wants. Lethal Lightning for $2. Snyder Cut 2021, $2 Aussie. Lethal, what's up, mate? Love Lethal, another member of the Geeks and Gamers crew there. And you know, look, this ain't the first time I've had discussions, let's call them discussions, with people uh who I don't see eye to eye with on every little thing. Me and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, me and this guy argued all the time about politics. But we're still good. We're still good friends. You know, there's a few of us in Geeks and Gamers who we don't all see things the same way, and that's fine. That's fine. But if you're gonna jump on this Twitter and try and be Mr. Oh, look at what he said, guy, then okay, let's have some fun with it then. Bring your ass on this stream. Jeremy from the Quartering, bring your ass on the stream and let's have a nice debate about what I said. I mean, we don't even have to just talk about what I said. We can talk about anything you want. We could talk about all the fraud that you post about on your Twitter in regards to the election. We can talk about all that. We can talk about it all. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm right here, son. We can talk about everything. You can show me all the proof you got for the fraud. You can show me all the proof. Show me all the court filings. Show me all the testimony and all the arguments between the lawyers and the judge. Let's just put it all out there and let's just have a grand old conversation about it. Why not? Why not? Let's talk about coronavirus and how much it's a hoax. Let's talk about all the beer bug stuff and how it's just all fake and we're all just being fooled to be controlled by George Soros and his fund of hooligans that run behind. Come on, dude. You serious? You know what I mean? Like, I like the guy, but he wants to clutch. He wants to pearl clutch on me. All right, well then let's do some talking. Let's see who clutches they shit the most. Oh, and here he is, the man, the myth, the legend himself, D-Day Cobra, $5 over here. Appreciate that, my man. Uche and I are always fighting. Always. And he knows, Jeremy knows, he has learned over time that, look, dude, partly just jabbing at you. Jab back, it's fine. I won't get mad. It's all good. It's all good, always good. So, I don't know if there's any other Quartering fans in here. If you're here and you're a Quartering fan, welcome. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as your old buddy would say on his channel. If you so happen to feel that I'm worthy of it, go ahead, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and think about joining. Yeah, of course, Nick Rivera, of course. Of course, it's a giant ramble. What else did you expect me to do here? Just sit, what, do you want me to go through a checklist of stuff? I'm going to ramble. I'm waiting on him. Part of this is me waiting on him to see if he wants to jump on this stream. He knows that I'm following him. I'm following him on Twitter. I don't think he's following me. No, he's not following me. But I'm sure there's somebody out there in his fandom, which I don't even know if I want to call it a fandom. He's just in his audience. There's probably somebody in his audience who can contact him. Hit him up. Hit him up. I'd love to talk to him. And again, to be clear, I don't hate this dude. I don't hate him. I like him. But I'm always ready for a nice debate whenever somebody wants to try and use something I say and put it out there and spin it in a way so that they can make themselves look good. I'm always down for that. I will sit right here and I will give him 30 minutes until 10 p.m. Because, I'm not going to sit on here and stream like 10 hours straight or nothing like that waiting on him. No, it ain't that important to me. But I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood for it. And if you guys enjoy it, hit that thumbs up, share it, spam his Twitter with the link for this stream right now. Let's see if he comes to the show. We'll go down a list of different topics in regards to all these things that he wants to tweet about, and we'll just get to the bottom of it. We'll get to the truth of the matter in all of it. Fuck it. Let's do it. I'm right here. Come get me now. Come on now. You know? Oh my goodness. You know, and then let me see here. We got people talking in the Twitter. Oh, there's my guy. There's my guy, Brian Saladino. That's my guy. I've not heard any ramblings on the Jags in a while, brother. I know, man. You know how it is in Jacksonville, dude. Jacksonville is just so whacked out right now. These cats can't beat nobody. They just, man, you know? I remember when we was in the AFC title game a few years ago, man, it felt so good. I felt so proud to be I'm still proud to be a Jaguar, but I felt there was a level of pride. Just seeing the franchise come back up to the top, you know? I really do miss really talking about the Jags because we just ain't doing shit. We ain't doing nothing. My Boilermakers lost today, Purdue. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm a Purdue grad. And we lost to Northwestern. Northwestern University. They're 8-2 against the Boilermakers in the last 10 years. And to me, that's just fucking disgusting. That was our get right game when I was coming up. But let's go through, you know what? I'm gonna go through a few of these, right? Because, you know, look, these people didn't understand what my context was here. So I guess, you know, it's time to explain a little bit. So I responded to his tweet with this. I said, in context of this protest / melting session, I would say yes. If you're going to take yourself into a tense environment where you could potentially find danger, you would be a fool to just waltz into that unprepared. They don't deserve it, but that's just the way it is. Hashtag Tupac. Because that's just the way it is. And I think that is, you know, if there is any, I guess, clarification that I could have given about what I meant by what I said, this would be it. This would be that clarification. In context to what I was watching in terms of that video, yeah. I mean, how many people in this country, how many people in this stream would go to a demonstration or rally? They're both the same thing, whatever you want to call it. A demonstration or rally. How many of you would go to something like that in 2020 knowing how this year has gone for protesting, how this year has gone for demonstrations? How many of you would seriously, one, because I've seen other videos, how many of you, one, would go there with a loved one and just, you know, walk aimlessly, not know where your crowd is, not know where you need to be so that you keep yourself away from the danger? How many of you would do that and not expect that there might be trouble if you wander into crowds where you don't know really where you're going? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I've seen videos of mothers with their kids, with their little children at this demonstration for Trump supporters, with their kids in a stroller. Like, that's insane. Why? With Trump posters and all this and that. And what are you doing that for? Like, you're bringing your kids into a situation that you do not have full control over. You're endangering your children by bringing them there. For what? To yell about being pissed about losing an election? I mean, that to me is what my entire statement is all about. It doesn't matter what your rights are. It doesn't matter what your rights are. It matters how much awareness you have of the environment that you are in. Because yes, everyone in that space has the right to be there. But that doesn't mean that everyone in that space is going to get along and coexist equally. So it would behoove you to get ahead of that and to prepare yourself. Now, give me a quick second Give me a quick second here. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. So, like I was saying, anybody who is genuinely anyone who wants to be a part of this this demonstration culture, this protest culture, whatever you want to call it. I mean, yes, I mean we all know what the right to assemble peacefully and demonstrate your or express your grievances. Yes, we know these are all rights that we're guaranteed as Americans. Yes, that's nobody's arguing that. Nobody is even really, discussing it in that context whatsoever. But Jeremy, he is the one who's grasping towards that and trying to give a false equivalency of, well, if you are not outraged at what happened to these people, then you are basically saying that they were asking for it by responding the way I did. No, I'm saying they should have prepared. Batman doesn't go to battle without preparing for his challenges. I didn't play on Sundays just throwing on shoulder pads and a helmet and deciding I was going to go out there and just make shit up. I prepared for the environment that I was going to be in. I prepared for the battles I was going to have to take on. If you are not smart enough, or if you are too naive to understand that in this day and age, it is not as simple as simply walking into the town square and holding up flags and just stating your grievances. There is so much division and built up tension in this country that, yes, you do need to prepare for the worst when you're going out into these kind of environments. There is absolutely a need for people to have awareness to that. So, I mean, I don't understand where me saying they should have known better is me actually being wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. You should know better than to just walk up into a protest / demonstration in this day and age with how this entire summer went, with how this entire year has gone. You should know better. Prepare for that. I bet you there's not one of them Proud Boys at them rallies who don't have a weapon on them. There's not one of them. Why do you think they do that? You think they're doing that because they just, well, partially, maybe they do want to look tough, but it sure does work as a deterrent from any kind of outlandish, unnecessary bullshit going down against them for the most part. I mean, nobody's saying it's going to be 100%, but I mean, come on. Come on. Okay, so I'm seeing people here. Somebody, and I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to just present my side and my perspective. I'm reading what other people are saying, and and this is where this is like, for instance, and normally, if you weren't throwing the super chat down, I wouldn't even be showing it. But Cold Outside Right Now, though, says they cornered and chased old people in the streets, hundreds of videos. Okay, what is that? What are you telling me? What are you telling me by telling me that? You're telling me something that I already know. These are the type of things that are happening right now in protests. I don't condone them. I don't promote them. So what exactly are you telling me? You're kind of validating my whole entire point. If you're going to go to this shit, be prepared. Be ready for the worst. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Have you ever heard that slogan before? That is exactly, that just gives more credence to what I'm saying here. Yes, people are getting fucked up at protests. Let's just put it like that. Let's be honest. The people are out there getting fucked up. So if you're going to go, if you as an adult are going to decide that I'm going to take my kids, I'm going to take my girl, and I'm going to go to this protest because I feel like my guy should have won, or because I feel like police need to be retrained, or because I feel like police brutality is this or that, then you better go prepared. Because you see what's happening to people who don't, and then want to run off at the mouth or want to wander into crowds where they don't know nobody. Come on, man. This is the stuff that I've been knowing in my life since I was little. Maybe it's because I'm black. Maybe it is because I'm black. Maybe it's because in the world that I've grown up in, you got to watch out for shit because they going to put something on you if you don't. Somebody going to take advantage of you if you don't. Maybe that's why I see it that way. Maybe that's why I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you should know better. Because in the world that I grew up in, as a kid, as a young black kid, a child of immigrants, no, you don't put yourself out there without having something to cover your ass with. You don't put your butt in the air without having something to cover it with, because it's going to get cold, because it's a cold world. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Let's look at this next super chat. Formerly Rod Line, $4.99. I appreciate that, formerly Rod. He says, I think you can be outraged and they should be more prepared. We should not have to prepare, but sadly you must. The way it is now is wrong. And I 100% agree with that statement. And that's basically that's what I've been saying. That's what I'm saying in response to, what Jeremy from the Quarterings is talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying it's not right. And those people didn't deserve to be accosted, and people don't deserve to be chased down because they support a different candidate or they have different political views than you. People don't deserve that shit. They don't. I think it's sad. I think it shows the sad state of affairs that our society is in. It shows the lack of etiquette that we have for each other as humans. And it's reprehensible to say the least. But it's also very human. And, hey, that's a sad thing to say, but it is also very human. And that's the way it is when things get to boiling points like they are. Things get to boiling points, people become very rotten. People become people have, tunnel vision. They only see things one way. They don't have any perspective. They don't have any lateral, peripheral perspective. All they have is this. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I don't care for the political, talking points. I don't care for the political terms that people are creating now for every little thing. I don't care about none of that. But I do care about somebody trying to use something that I said and stick themselves out there as being a victim because of it, or having that victim mentality of that outrage, the outrage. How could you possibly? And here's another. Yeah, this is tunnel vision. Yes, you're right. I think both sides are guilty of it. I think both sides are guilty of it. You know, there's one thing that you'll learn about me. The more that you check out my videos, the more that you come onto my come onto my live streams, my podcasts. There's one thing that you'll learn about Uche is that Uche is never going to vehemently back one side or the other, because I can find bullshit on both sides. Because there always is. So, people who take one side and think, oh, I'm right because I'm for freedom. Well, freedom is a fluid thing in America. If you've paid attention over the last 150 some odd years, freedom is very, very fluid. It's not, there doesn't seem to be a singular, clear definition of what freedom really should be in this country. So let's not just get behind a flag, get behind, 50 stars and stripes and think to ourselves that, because I say freedom, that means, this or that. Freedom is fluid, because there's some people who don't get the same kind of freedom. There's some people who can never have the same kind of freedom, not because of their color, not all the time, but also because of their circumstance in some situations. Some people will never have the freedom that you have as an individual because of their circumstances. Some people will never have the freedom that you have as an individual because of their ethnicity. These are things that are just, that's how it is. So, again, got about 13 minutes here waiting on Jeremy, see if he wants to have a discussion about this. But until then, I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm looking through some of the chat, trying to see what I can find that I want to post up. I mean, honestly, if you really want me to post it up, you need to throw a super chat in, and I will most definitely go through and talk about I'll go through and talk about some of the, I will talk at length about comments. I mean, I love to interact. And, again, like, if I am talking to somebody and things that they say make sense to me and are reasonable enough, I have no problem changing my perspective on something. Here we go. Biggles Mets. Uche, I think it just came off wrong in the tweet. Glad you're explaining it. And yeah, I mean, I understand the toneless nature of text. So yes, I part of me does try to even clarify further in my responses on Twitter, but also here in the stream. I'm trying to be a little bit more clear about exactly why I said what I said, because I think what I'm saying absolutely makes sense. I think what I'm saying is actually reasonable. Like, you don't go to the beach on a summer day without sunscreen for your kids, without sunscreen for yourself. Yeah, it says that it might be, mid 80s, but hey, it's the middle of the summer. Could be 92 degrees. Could be 95 degrees. We all know the meteorologists are off half the damn time anyway. So you're going to prepare. You're going to go to that beach with sunscreen, with water, with all the utensils, with all the tools that you need to make sure that you can have a good time there, but stay safe at the same time. So, that's what that boils down to. Okay, let me see here. There is no gray area here. All violence should be denounced. Okay, well, hey, that's easy enough to say. We all can agree on that. Now, show me where there is consistency in how that is played out in real time in the world we live in 2020. And I'm not even talking about just here in the United States. Go across the world. Go throughout history. That's what a lot of people don't even consider when you think about what your views are on things. Check history. History will answer 99% of all your questions. It always does. Because humans have not changed much throughout the course of history. Humanity has not changed very much throughout the course of history. It's about who gets the most power, who gets the most resources, and who can control the perception of what is going on in the world. It's always been about that. When I see people post these little things on Facebook and Twitter, I laugh because I'm like, oh, you're just finding that out? I mean, I've been knowing that that's kind of how the world operates since I was in high school. I'm a history buff. I love history. I love looking at the past and seeing how it connects so consistently to the present and how it shows you where things will go in the future. It's always a great tell. Okay, now you're saying people should settle, just ignore it while they burn down businesses? No, I'm not saying that because look, again, generalizations are a big problem in our society. There are people who peacefully protested. There are people who protested without lifting a finger in way of violence towards anyone, and they got their asses beat. They got their asses shot with rubber bullets by cops. Is that fair? Whose responsibility is it to show restraint in those situations? Is it the cops or is it the individuals once they've been hit in the eye by rubber bullets, once they've been knocked unconscious by a rubber bullet to the head? Who, like, come on, let's be real. Nobody's saying settle for violence, but don't act like because it happens, it's all one person's fault. People who looted and burnt down businesses, those were protesters. I don't think I don't think you're a protester if you're burning a building down. I don't think you have time to be protesting if you're burning a building down. Now, yes, were there instances where protesters got violent and, and did things that are illegal, like how they burned down or burned parts of police departments? Yeah, those are crimes. Find those people, arrest them, send them to jail if the charges are proven to be true, and sentence them. That's fine. I have no arguments against that. But don't sit there and say, oh, because those people, who it's always a small percentage, because that small percentage of people set off a chain of events that turned this situation into, an unattainable occurrence where now you have businesses on fire, you have people's property being destroyed. Don't take that small percentage of people who set that off and say that's what the entire movement is about, because that's bullshit. And you know it. How many people commit crime in the population, in the grand scheme of it? The population of the United States is 370 million people. The percentage of people that commit crimes in this country is less than 5%. You can't generalize and say because of that less than 5%, that those people, anyone who is the same color or is from the same area as those people, well, they're criminals too. How much sense does that make? Come on, man. Come on, people. Use your brain. The numbers, if you understand history, if you understand percentages, if you understand trends, then you should understand that for all of the bad things that happen in these situations where there were riots and protests, the vast majority of people who were there were not involved in the violent acts that led to chaos. It's always the smallest percentage of people. But again, that's like throwing a lit match on kerosene-soaked clothes. And that's part of, honestly, where my issue was with the president when it comes down to it, is that office, that level of office in the history of this country has demanded so much respect and humility because the man who takes that role as president, whether he is a good person or not, is humbled by the gravitas of that position, being the leader of the free world. And that humility is supposed to bring out the better traits of the individual, the empathy, the compassion, the resolve, the ability to lead through unification, lead through actions. In the world that I come from, in the environment I come from, people who do this shit all the time, ain't nowhere for them to hide. If you're not about what you're talking about, we'll find out. And when we find out, then we know exactly who you are. And a lot of times, the people who do all this shit right here are cowards. They're cowards. People who do all this, a lot of times, in highly competitive, high tense situations, a lot of times the ones doing this are the ones who are the most hesitant to put themselves out there. Don't tell me about how well you can shoot a 3-point shot. Don't tell me about how great of a tackler you are. Show me. That's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. And in the world I come from, if you ain't about it, you're exposed in a heartbeat. You're exposed. Leadership is tuned to almost an immaculate level in the world I come from. Leaders are true leaders. Leaders who aren't true leaders are exposed because the pressure and the expectations of what you are expected to do and how you are expected to perform are, it's far and away one of the most competitive environments you can be in, relatively speaking. And, we're pretty good at spotting guys who are leaders. We're pretty good at spotting guys who are leaders. So again, knowing the environment you're in, knowing the situation as it stands right now, you can't allow yourself to just go into something thinking because it says I'm giving this right on a piece of paper that people are just going to roll with that and it's going to be all humpty-dory, because it's never that way. It just don't work like that. Let's take a look at these chats, because I got 3 minutes here before I go ahead and let's see what he's saying. I don't see nothing really in way of I don't hear nothing from the quartering. I don't hear nothing from Jeremy. That's cool though. I'm glad I got a chance to come on here and really just talk and really just talk to the people about what it is, how I perceive things, because I don't consider myself a leftist. I don't consider myself a rightist or an alt-right or whatever the fuck y'all want to call all that shit. I don't know. I don't consider myself none of those. But I sit in that gray area like most people do in this world, because there's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray, and I don't align myself specifically with one side or another to a point where I'm not willing to listen to reason and listen to things that make sense. That's never been how I operate. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, then I'll just say it doesn't. Come on. I'm not the person who's going to get hung up on that kind of shit. I don't have to prove that I'm genuine about something. I really, at the end of the day, I only know how to act one way. I only know how to be one way. And that's the way I am. That's the way I am. So with all that being said, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit the share and share it on his channel. You know what I mean? If I can't get him tonight, maybe I can get him to come on tomorrow night. Maybe I can get him to come on Monday. Maybe I can get him on my podcast on Wednesday. Because, look, let's have a conversation, dude. I'm really hostile. I'm not hostile towards him. I watch his channel pretty regularly. I'm subscribed to it. Shit. Come on, man. Shoot. It's not even a situation where, it's not even a situation where where I want to hear him say something to my face because, hey, he's a grown man. Let's talk. I'm grown too. I'm grown too. Shoot. I mean, we have similar, we have some similarities in thought process. But like I said, I understand parts of his persona that are characters that is entertainment, and then I understand the parts of his persona that are somewhat showing who he is. And I don't have a problem with the guy. I just have a problem with I will just call out inconsistencies because inconsistencies place your credibility at risk. I'm not saying he's not credible in his own right. I'm just saying if I see something that I feel is inconsistent, I'll call it inconsistent. And what he said in response to my shit, yeah, that was totally inconsistent. Like, dude, that's a false equivalency if there ever was such a thing. Nobody says that. You can only equate what happened with water being thrown on those people to someone being, actually like violated. Come on, dude. Get the fuck out of here. What's going on, Luke himself? What up? What up? What up? But yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, that's all. These are all true statements. Like, it really just boils down to this: when you walk out the house in any day in your life, when you walk out your front door, you walk out your front door with all the things you need in case you have an emergency. Right? You got your phone, you got your wallet, you got your ID, you got your car keys, whatever it may be. You walk out the door. And if anything comes up, you have the tools on you to try and handle those situations as best you can. So why would you think that shouldn't apply to every aspect of your daily life, especially when you're dealing with situations like protests and rallies like we're having in today's world? It's just, that's just it. And look, maybe Jeremy has not even seen anything that I've said. And, I will not assume that he is just ignoring me because he may not have seen anything that I've responded to him with. He may not even know I'm doing this stream. He may find out about it. And you know what? It'll be great because it'll give him an opportunity to make a video about it. And I'll probably watch the video and I'll comment on it because now at least I know when I comment, he's going to respond. So I can get him on my stream and we can talk about stuff on a live stream in the future. But I'm sure he'll hear about this. I'm sure he'll see part of this at whatever time he does. And that's good. When he does, then he knows he can reach out because hey, let's have a discussion. You're a guy who likes to talk. I'm a guy who likes to talk. Let's get on a stream together. Very least, it'll be great entertainment for everybody who's watching. But I appreciate you guys for being on this stream. I'm hopping off this thing. I've given more than enough of my time to this for the moment. And oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this. And, look, this guy and this utility guy, the utility man, I appreciate you for as much as you've been speaking up in the contrary to some of the things I've been saying, because fact of the matter is you're right in that respect. He said, based on your tweet, it would be hard to infer half the things you've said here. Just the same as his reply to you on Twitter doesn't mean how you're taking it. You're right to an extent. And I will say that you're right to an extent. He doesn't know necessarily my perspective. Well, that's part of why I responded further in the tweets to further clarify. He has not responded to further clarify what his response to mine was, because I would gather that it's pretty hard to infer anything else rather than what he said in his retweeting of my comment. He used words and used verbs that were clearly intended to be taken one way and one way only, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, how else would you understand what he said to mean? What else would you understand it to mean? That's the analogy is quite clear in what he's saying. And a couple super chats here. We got RC from NYC, who has been a long time member on the channel. RC, what's up, my brother? He says, "What's up, Uche? What's up, chat? Hope all is good. What I miss? Woohoo! You missed a little bit. But don't worry. We'll revisit it. You're always on here. Mason, man, it's been a minute. Mason, $4.99 says, "Agree or disagree? Uche speaks his mind, and that's respectable. The Snyder Cut hype is building. You are 100% correct, my friend. You are 100% correct." But again, really appreciate everybody for coming on, checking out the stream. Had a great time just kind of rambling. Yeah, I ramble. I do that, but I try to be as reasonable and as logical as I can be when I do get on here and ramble. So make sure you slap that like button. Make sure you're sharing this. Hopefully we'll hear from Jeremy from the Quartering in the next day or two. If we don't, it's all fine. I'm indifferent either way. I mean, I would like to, but I'm not going to sweat it. I'm sure that whenever there's a moment for him to give it its due respect, he'll do as much. We'll see how that goes. But appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Live life. Enjoy yourself. Don't let things around you get you down. And I will talk to you all on the next.